All right, I'm going to ask in the adoption of the agenda that we move, no, I'm not done. That we move 9A up and make that number 6 and drop everything else down. So, moved by Commissioner Romano, supported by Commissioner Kraft. Please vote. Motion passes 11-0. Approval of the minutes dated August 15, 2018. Moved by Commissioner Brown, support by Commissioner Lucido. Questions? Please vote. Motion passes 11-0. Public participation. Does anyone wish to be heard? Does anyone wish to be heard? Seeing none, we'll close public participation. Item number 6, Ordinance 2018-3, Macomb County Employee Retirement System Ordinance. Is there a motion? Moved by Commissioner Brown. Is there support? Support by Commissioner Sauger. Yeah, come on in, because I do have a couple of questions, but if you want to go ahead and speak to it first, that's fine.
Commissioner Kleinfeld, I certainly don't have to speak to it. The ordinance itself, all the motions have been adopted already. All the changes have been adopted already. There were some things that were not incorporated into the ordinance itself that we are now incorporating and then making some minor clerical adjustments.
Okay, yeah, from what I was able to see, this isn't massive changes. This is changing the indentations and adding A, B, C in a few different places. There really wasn't a change in the content. Is that correct?
That's exactly correct.
Okay, and so here's my question. Why isn't the defined contribution part in our Macomb County Employees Retirement System Ordinance? Even though they're not pension, wouldn't the defined contribution sections be in there?
That's probably a question for council, but I would presume that it's not a retirement. It is your own personal account, and so that account becomes your own. But I would certainly relate to council that.
Yes, by way of introduction, Tom Michaud. Good morning, or good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
Yes, in terms of it's a separate trust account, so it's a separate designated system, so it wouldn't fall within the defined benefit plan section of the retirement ordinance. So it's administered by a different
do we have a
board.
separate ordinance for that, Steve?
There's a separate, you know, 401.
Yeah, for all the other employees, yeah.
Since 2000.
Yeah.
There's a separate trust fund, there's a separate plan.
Right, but there's an actual retirement ordinance here. Do we have a retiree ordinance?
No, the board's approved a plan. And all that money's held with Vanguard.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't have an ordinance, I don't believe.
I mean, wouldn't we have an ordinance that says that just is sort of like this one? Employees on or after blah, blah, blah.
Well, there's language in all the collective bargaining agreements to that effect that have all been ratified.
Okay, it's just
That
because,
helps.
see, this isn't a plan, this is an ordinance, and that's why I asked the question. If we have an ordinance regarding defined contribution, defined benefit, why wouldn't we have an ordinance regarding defined contribution?
Yeah, I think there might be a placeholder in the ordinance somewhere. I know for the defined benefit plan, the plan is the ordinance language, as opposed to the defined contribution plan, which is a third-party provided plan document, which is not administered by the county, it's administered by a third-party provider.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Drillette.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the Chair's assessment of this as an almost clerical adjustment. and you seem to concur. What would you say is the largest change? Is it all just strictly clerical? There's no material changes of any sort?
It's all clerical.
There's a B added.
2B or not 2? Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote. Motion passes 11-0. Thank you.
Thank you for your
very much,
accommodation.
Commissioner.
Justice and Public Safety Committee recommendations. Because these were waived by the chair, we're going to take them individually. A, Budget Amendment Capital Improvement Plan, Jail Cell Remediation. So this is for the budget amendment. Is there a motion? Moved by Commissioner Kraft, supported by Commissioner Brown. Do you want to speak? Yeah, I was looking for speakers and I didn't see any.
Well, we can let them speak.
Okay. You want to go ahead and speak to it? I'm sorry. Thank you.
The purchasing department solicited bids on the Minton site for a design-build solution for the bedpan hole mitigation project. 519 vendors were actually notified of this solicitation. 17 vendors actually viewed the documents, and 3 design solutions were presented. After receipt of this, a meeting was scheduled with all 3 vendors, giving them an opportunity to make their presentation along with bringing in a prototype of their solution. The low bidder, which is Brencall,
If you like, I can bring this around so you can see it. This is Brencall's solution here.
they propose a solution where they would take a steel plate and attach it with epoxy. It was the consensus that over time the inmate would remove that epoxy and then would dislodge the steel plate. And not only would you still have the hole, you would also have a potential weapon. So the next solution
This one we could tear apart during the process, so we just determined not to proceed with this. We'll grab this one.
This solution was presented by Burnco, a creative solution in which they would insert a steel plug into the hole. They would use a magnet to keep that plug in place, and then during the welding process, they would puddle weld it, and the finished product is where you can see that the hole no longer exists. They would also do a anemic paint process that is a 3-step process. The last solution, and I know Ron's got to catch up with me.
Puddle weld is normally how you attach a roof deck. It's just, you put the metal down and you weld right on top of it. You're not welding 2 pieces of metal together, you're welding through the metal to the substrate below.
The third solution was presented by K-Tech, a very creative solution. It was engineered, it's a tamper-proof head design. It's made of stainless steel, and it also has a thread locker, which would cover up the internal threads, and they're not exposed. And this would also be attached, there'd be a bottom plate that would be attached with a tamper-proof screw, and it would use a special tool to fasten it to a specified torque. Both the Burnco solution and the K-Tech solution are acceptable in filling in the holes. The big difference, other than price, between the Brencal and the KTEC solution is the time of installation. Oh, I'm sorry, Burnco would be the time and installation. KTEC indicated that they could do a pod in 1 day, and Burnco said it would take approximately 8 days. Now, this creates, if it's a 1 day process, it's my understanding, and unfortunately Captain Zimney had to leave, they could have the inmates go into the day room, the installation would be performed, and then by the end of the day, they could go back to their cells. In Burnco's solution, which would take 8 days, that would require the jail staff to find actually another bed. And that is particularly difficult for the jail because they also have to keep in mind the classification of the inmate. So they felt it is so difficult for them to do that. They would have been more inclined to want to team this up with a project that's going to come before you at another meeting of the lighting and intercom project. So it could take up to 30 months for their solution. So we feel, I also have to add, subsequent to their presentations, the Sheriff's Department indicated that it was first thought that they should address the tower and that there was more visibility in booking and rehab. He changed his opinion and felt that all the bed holes should be addressed. Captain Zimney contacted KTEC indicating this. They responded with a price in addition to also an alternative metal to be used to save some money. So it's
black oxide instead of stainless steel.
yes, and it's a 1214 black oxide. Now, is stainless steel better than black oxide? Probably. Can black oxide be scratched? Yes. Over time, it could possibly have the potential for corrosion. So it would be something that we would have to periodically take a look at that black oxide and see whether we need to address it. But it was the consensus that we could save money, we could do more beds for a lower price than was originally submitted. So we'd like to actually request that a purchase order be issued to KTEC in the amount of $553,253. Now I have to add, KTEC's main line of work is essentially automotive and very high-end performance engines. So they're a little, or maybe a lot, out of their comfort level or the knowledge of bidding for governments. And one of the requirements is to get bonds. So this company went back and started the process of what it would take to supply bonds in accordance with the purchasing policy. They are real close to achieving that. What would give them the final piece, according to the president of KTEC, is you need either a letter of intent or the purchase order so that the bonding company knows there's really a real project out there. So I would note, if it's authorized to have this purchase order issued, we would put it in a note on that purchase order that no material or work would commence prior to the receipt and acceptance of bonds by the county.
Okay, and because these two agenda items piggyback with each other, I'm going to allow questions regarding the whole thing, and then maybe the second vote will just go real quick. So, Chair Smith.
Thank you. Thanks, Lynn, for bringing this to us. And I'd like to acknowledge, Commissioner Carabelli and really all the commissioners that were willing to, the first time looking at this, realize that maybe that we needed a different look at this, and you for realizing also that this design build was a better way to go about this. And not really, monetarily, of course, that's what first gets you to look at it. But at the end of the day, the first fix was also a 30-month fix. I looked at the first one, and it was 30 months.
That's
So
correct.
even though this had a slight delay rather than just approving the first one, it saved us, I mean, maybe 2 years at the end of
Yes.
the day, because that's 2.5
Yes.
years. So I'd like to say, the commissioners, sometimes, even though it seems kind of difficult to do what we know is right, I think we did a really good job of this. And then Lynn, you picked it right up with it, and you and the sheriff department doing this. And like I said, it's nice to save some money, but it's also, we're going to save a lot more potential problems by having this done, so quickly. So thank you, and all of you commissioners for acting the way that you did. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Leonetti.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too want to echo the chair's, feelings on this, and I want to commend Commissioner Carabelli as well. You don't see this a lot, but this is an example of good government. I mean, we had $1 million that was initially proposed to this body. And Commissioner Carabelli started to question that, talked to some people he knew, and said, look, this could be done for much less of a price. And we all agreed, and it's not a Republican or Democratic thing, and that's a great thing about this body is when we see something that looks good, we all take action together. And I want to commend as well as your department for getting on it right away and bringing in these samples so that we can actually see, with our own eyes what looks to be the best bidder here and the best product. And like I say, when you go from $1 million, which was originally brought to us, we didn't just sit there and rubber stamp it and say, here we go, $1 million. We questioned it. All aspects of government worked together, and we saved our county taxpayers $500,000 and a lot of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Leonetti. Commissioner Carabelli doesn't like to take credit much. He'd rather we not say anything, to be honest. But I have to tell you, he didn't just save us money, he saved us time. And he took his own personal time to go out and do something that caused us to save time and money at the county. And so, Commissioner Carabelli, I know that you don't want the accolades, but in this case, you really deserve it. So thank you very much. Oh, no. So, okay, so my question is, the bid tabulation sheet that we have, for K-Tech's got the $593,980, and you gave us $553,255. Is the $553,255 with the, which, that's,
Yes, that's the black oxide and the additional beds in booking and rehab.
okay, so there's not a huge difference. If you have to keep an eye on those and worry about,
We're adding more beds.
okay.
There's approximately, what,
But
about 40 beds.
even to my original though, if you have to keep an eye on it and worry that it'll fail in the future, as opposed to never having to worry about it again, is it a wise decision to save the money now when you might have to replace them in the future?
I don't know that you'd have to replace them. You may have to touch them up if they get scratched and deeply scratched. I think though the black oxide will be an acceptable solution in the long term. Not as good as stainless steel, that's my opinion. I think the stainless steel is kind of goof-proof there. But we don't have a price for the stainless steel for the additional beds. That would exceed the.
Okay, are the
original
beds
593.
themselves stainless steel?
No.
Oh,
No, they're
okay,
carbon steel.
No,
All
and
right.
the-
Painted carbon steel.
okay.
Yes,
Thank-
and the 1214 is pretty comparable to what the bed pan is.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. Commissioner Toko.
Thank you. Just as a procedural matter, it looks like the bids came in a while ago.
Yes.
And I was asked yesterday to waive this out of the Justice and Public Safety Committee. Why didn't this go through the committee process? If you know.
I'm not sure I know. It was a very long process. We had to bring them in, make their presentation. Then also with the Sheriff's Department asking that the additional beds be addressed. So then we went back to K-Tech again. And also trying to work with them in the bonding. It was actually something really new to them. But they got right on it, but they're starting from scratch, never obtaining a bond before.
Okay, so they're in the process now of?
Yes, yes.
And have you
And they're
given them?
that close.
We're indicating about 99% there. At this point, we just need a letter of intent or a contract or a purchase order.
Okay, so are you asking us today to authorize a letter of intent? What are you asking us for
To
today?
authorize a purchase order, but it would be contingent upon no work or materials would be ordered or work commence until receipt and acceptance of the bonds by risk management.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Sauger.
All I'm gonna do is say, prepare for later on, when this thing starts, you're gonna have these jailhouse lawyers have this stolen, that stolen, so be prepared for it, 'cause you know how them people are. You're gonna go into their bedrooms, and they're gonna say, you took this, you took that. I know what it's about, 'cause I've been there, so be prepared. Thank you.
Commissioner Carabelli.
Lynn, just to recap real quick, you're asking for full authorization today for the letter of intent prior to it going to full board, and that is with the understanding that a contract won't be issued until all ducks are in a row, but you're asking for full approval right now. I just want to
Yes.
make sure we're all on the same page.
Oh, okay.
No, that's okay. Chair Smith, go ahead.
You did ask for it today, but our process normally is to forward it to tomorrow. That finalizes everything, and is tomorrow acceptable, or do we need to change our procedure today to make sure that you can get something out to them tomorrow?
Certainly, the sheriff would like us to address it as soon as possible. That was why we were asking for the purchase order. You know, we don't want to violate the rules.
Can I make a motion?
No, because right now the motion is on the amendment to move the funds. That will be the next motion, what you're thinking of. Okay, so there's a motion for the amendment there's a motion to amend the budget, which is what our first agenda item is. Are there any more questions relative to that? Okay, please vote. Motion passes 11-0. All right, so the next agenda item is the purchase, K-Tech Incorporated, and instead of a motion to move to full board, I guess I would seek a motion to actually go through with the approval of the purchase with K-Tech and to approve the issuance of the purchase order. Is there a motion? Moved by Leonetti.
Yeah, and I'll make that motion as she stated. It's conditioned upon the fact that our purchase offer is conditioned upon the fact that they receive bond.
Yes, the bonds and insurance, and it's acceptable by the risk manager.
Okay, so that's included in the motion. Is there support? Commissioner Lucido raised her hand, so I'm going to call on her. Are there any questions on this then? Okay, please vote. Motion passes 12-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, department recommendations, purchase of military service time for Dan Barbuela. I know I'm not going to say that correctly. Barbula, thank you. I knew I wasn't going to. Moved by Commissioner Sauger, support by Commissioner Brown, I think said it first. Any questions? Please vote. Motion passes 12-0. Infrastructure and Economic Development Committee recommendations, all waived by the chair, so we'll go through those. Contract AECOM Great Lakes Traffic Operations and Engineering. Oh, there you are. I didn't see you earlier. Okay, so is there a motion on this? Moved by Commissioner Carabelli, support? support by Commissioner Lucido. You want to go ahead and speak to it?
Sure can. Good evening, Commissioners. This is a standard contract. Actually, we had the approval last year for this contract. We do contract work with our Comtech facility, and ACOM was the awarded bidder last year. This is just an extension. It's a possible 1 of 3 year extension. So we're extending the first year of that contract that was approved last year for our Comtech Center.
Thank you. I do not see any people requesting to speak, so please vote. They were waived by their chairs, so we've never had a discussion on them. They have to be taken individually. Motion passes 12-0. Item B, contract Ajax Paving Industries Pavement Preservation Program, hot mix asphalt. Would you like to, let me seek the motion first. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion. I just had one question.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Myjack, support. Support by Commissioner Carabelli. Let me let him just.
Sure, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Commissioners, this is our standard HMA pavement preservation program on an annual basis that we solicit bids for HMA paving throughout the county. The low bidder was Ajax Paving in the amount of $7,598,150.89.
Okay, Commissioner Myjack.
Yeah, in layman's terms, Brian, what exactly does this mean? Like, for me to understand, what is this used for exactly?
Our pavement preservation program is basically a repair program where we take an existing roadway. We might do some minimal repairs as far as joint repairs to like a existing asphalt road. Put a new fresh coat, probably an 1.5 to 2 inch lift of asphalt on it, and then re-shoulder it. So there's
like,
minimal repair work. So we're just basically capping an old road and adding shoulders, new shoulder material onto it.
okay, so but what would be the distance? Are we talking a mile? It could be a small part of the road. We're not talking 14 to 18 mile road on Mound or anything big like that.
No, there's various, and I can, I guess, get a listing of some of the areas that we have, but it's various stretches of road throughout the county. It's not just one continuous project that's
Gotcha.
8-10 miles
Okay.
long. It's just each community has submittals on an annual basis that we feel is necessary to repair and
Okay.
overlay.
And so now it says it's going to be completed by May 31st, 2019. So if we approve this for you today, you're going to use these funds to do what you need to do and complete that in the next 6-8 months?
Yes, the bulk of the work as far as the actual paving and shouldering will be done this year. And if there's any residual restoration work, that'll take place the spring of next year. So it'll just be miscellaneous work that we've
Okay.
done.
So is this something you do every year then at the road department?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so then this time next year, you might be coming back to us again with a request for funds?
We will have
like
the
this?
same program
Gotcha.
continuing next year.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioner Leonetti.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And forgive me, Brian, if you don't know the answer, I should know it too. I'm trying to look here in the budget. Is this more money, given the nature of the roads that we had this past winter? Are you getting more asphalt here for this hot mix than you did in previous years?
We've ramped up the program the last couple years as far as putting more money. We have a HMA program. We have a concrete patch program also. That's an annual basis. So we've ramped them up, increasing over the last couple years with the increased funding from the
Okay.
NTF.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Seeing no other commissioners, please vote. Motion passes 11-0. Item C, Cadillac Asphalt HMA Paving and Concrete Milling, Metro Parkway and Garfield Road. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we move C through M in their entirety with no objection from any commissioner, and then discuss any item within that motion. You have an objection? No, I don't have an objection. I do have a question. Sure, we would question any item within that motion.
Is everybody okay with that? All right, motion by Gillette. Is there support? Support by Sagar. And so Do you need a second for that, Mike, or? Okay. All right, let's open it up with Commissioner Carabelli then.
Sure. Item number F, stormwater runoff. Okay, and again, this is something that's very confusing to me. Stormwater runoff, I consider drain, public works. I understand somehow roads has water runoff and everything, and this is a cost share to take care of not only that, but it's also, there's some water main work being done. And I read this and I understand it, and they say, well, it's our portion, the county, your department, taxpayers, have to fund that portion of it. I don't understand why, if they're doing water main work, the county would have to participate in that. If somebody can help me out.
We participated in various projects with various communities of this nature. The community brings forward a project they're looking at, say a water main project. They will be affecting a portion of the roadway with that water main project. They asked us to participate if we determine that the road is detrimented enough or degraded enough to warrant replacement. We actually participate only in the roadway portion of it. So we don't participate in the water main portion that is requested by the community. So we partner with them to split half of the road cost, independent of the water main cost.
Okay, and that cleared up some of it, but it begs one more question. Usually, and I could be wrong, if a water main is getting done, it's usually not the municipality, and I understand this is a township and the road dollars go back, and I understand that. But usually it's a development that's putting in a new water main, or it's the Great Lakes Water Authority putting in a water main. So is this, do you know if this one is the actual city's or the township's water main?
It is.
Okay.
Just like the city of Warren has their own water main that they service and maintain. We have sections of water main in the city of Warren that are under their guides and control.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Okay, my question is about I just want to clarify. So the roof replacement is on a different building than we're working on developing, right?
Yes, that is correct. That's a pre-existing building that we're currently occupying that is in need of repair.
That you're going to continue to occupy after the new one's built?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Commissioner.
All right, I don't see any other questions. Please vote. You didn't miss anything. Motion passes 12-0. Public participation. Does anyone wish to be heard? Seeing no public is there new business? Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed it. New business. Does anyone have any new business? Okay. Public participation.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to go. I'm sorry. See you later, Brian. All right. Seeing no public participation. Motion to adjourn?
No, did we skip through new business?
Oh, I just did new business, but that's okay. Okay. Okay, Chair Smith.
All right, I need my time again. Everybody, I just want to introduce Jennifer DeHaan. I know most of you had a chance to meet her, but not everybody's had a chance to, actually sit down and talk to her. So you all know that in the last few years, we've hired people to come in and help us with our budget. And although we've been looking for the right person, we've kind of settled for an accountant at different times that knew numbers but really didn't know municipal finance. I think, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but I think we finally found that right person in Jennifer. She has a lot of experience in government, both on the administrative side and teaching with finance and different things with municipal government. I wanted her here today to hear our audit report, and also tomorrow she's going to be in town for the presentation of the budget. She lives on the west side. We've worked out an arrangement where a couple days a week, when needed, she'll be out here, and the rest she'll be working on her own. And I can already tell you that I feel we've picked the right person, because I'm getting calls about things that she's reading and finding out about the county at all different times. And I think I think I'm going to let her introduce herself and give a little bit of an elevator speech on her past and her history, and what she thinks she might be able to help us with. And what I told her is that we're not looking to. I think the finances of the county are in great shape, and I think that the money being spent by the finance department, the executive, and the departments is probably pretty much right in line with what we would agree to all the time, which we usually seem to, but that there are some procedures and some issues that need to be addressed and clarified and worked on, from our perspective. One of them being the Capital Projects Fund. We did a big thing last year of zeroing that out, but we kind of did it, and now we need to take a little different step on that to find out where to go with this to make it work better for everybody, not just us, but the different departments that need these capital projects. So she has kind of a big job ahead of her. She's already talked to many of you. I've talked to Mark Hackle and Mark Delden about her, and we're going to get her with Steve Smeagol and with Mark Delden and get them together so that we can hopefully form kind of a working relationship to get this where our processes are almost seamless, and we don't have any more, I don't understand this, or I don't know how to do that, or we're not looking at things on an agenda trying to figure out if everything's here. We know that by the time it's here, everything's there, right? I mean, we all know we need a little bit better process here, and I think we might have someone to help us along with this. So Jennifer, if I left anything out, I'm sure I did.
No, you haven't, but
Yeah.
I want to thank you for the
First thing you need to learn.
Thank you for the warm welcome, and I will press the button from now on. But I've enjoyed the opportunity to meet most of you and to chat with you. As you said, I've worked in local government for over 15 years as, a deputy administrator, as an analyst, as a consultant, and as an adjunct instructor. And so I like to think that I'm able to bridge two types of communication, bridge them together so that everybody has a common understanding. I'm really impressed with what I've read here about the county and the work that's being done here. So I'm excited to be a part of your team this budget season. I look forward to working with you. If I can be a resource to you, or you want anything, please feel free to reach out to me. Glad to be here, so thank you.
Great. And I would say if anyone has any questions right now, that would be appropriate, and if not, obviously you're accessible to everybody. And we don't have a time frame on this. I think we're going to kind of go through this whole budget season and then look at our ordinances and contracting policies, which we're waiting on the executive's office to present some things to us. They want some things changed, and I have mentioned to them that we don't know what you want changed exactly, so propose some things to us so we can start working together on these items. So that being said, she'll probably be with us for the foreseeable future, although it is a contract position, and I don't think she plans on moving to Macomb. Well, we'll work her into making Macomb her home, but I'm not sure if we can handle that, or she can handle it, but thanks. Any questions for Jennifer at this point, or? Nope. All right, thank you.
Any other new business? All right, with that, please vote on the motion to adjourn. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.